Hello everyone, I'm Madam B, and today I will be reviewing the TV series The Tudors. The Tudors is a 2007 historical drama created by Michael Hirst. It stars Jonathan Rhys Meyers, Sam Neill, Callum Blue, Henry Cavill, Natalie Dormer, Doyle Kennedy, and several others. It follows the reign, the 40, almost 40-year reign of King Henry VIII, and his many problems as he tries to lead his 16th century English court. Um, the Tudors is not like one of the soap operas that our mom used to watch, or grandma used to watch. It actually happened, loosely, of course, in this show, but it actually happened. There was a King Henry VIII. He did have 6 wives, and during those 6 wives and in between all of that, many things changed. Each one of his wives left a mark on English history that is still remembered today. And that is what I like so much about watching that show. When I watched it and when I actually looked up the facts, um, that's what I loved. I'm like a period nerd, I guess, how you say it. I like what do you call that? British. I like British stories, Victorian. I'm into all that far back stuff. Um, in this series, though, you find a lot of issues in the English court with Henry. Um, he tries to, he tries to focus on the his reign as king and trying to please his people, but he also is trying to focus on actually having, pleasing himself and having an heir, because he has no heir. As of his reign, he has no heir. He but he do have a mistress, like many kings do. But as with that, they'll be illegitimate, and can't, they have no place in court, basically. In the Tudors, we have the main plot of Henry and him trying to deal with his court and deal with his finding another wife, because he no longer wants the one he has, which of course is against the law to him, to other people. And we have many other subplots. Now, the subplots, there was some that should have been limited. I think it focused on the kind of the servant stories a little bit too much, instead of trying to focus on the main ones. But that's beside the point. Um, the characters in the story, like Anne Boleyn, Captain of Aragon, I kind of, and all his other wives, as I was looking at the series and actually looking up the facts on them, I do kind of favor Captain of Aragon's storyline a little bit more, because it was true. What she went through in the show and what she went through back then, it was kind of right on the money. Maybe a little bit, they cut it here and there. Um, but like Anne Boleyn's character, they had her as like in the series, they had her like a temptress. Just, I'm doing this. I'm going to steal the king from you, and they kind of had her like a home wrecker. But in actuality, she did, she was all right. She had a reason as to how all of that happened. So she was young, and as with the other characters like Charles Brandon and Henry Cavill, you didn't really get to see much of him in the first season. He kind of shows up in the second season and after. Maybe a little bit more on his story should have been added, because to me, I was just like, like, okay, wow, Henry Cavill. So the performances and the portrayals of each character, to the ones that lived back then, to be honest, I did not quite get into the other characters. I got into King Henry VIII. His performance, John Rhys Meyers' performance of King Henry VIII, it was okay, but toward the end, there were some things that I wish they would have changed about it to make it more like Henry back then. But as for the performance of his character and the performances of the other characters, I think they did that well, except for Anne Boleyn's character. They could have showed a little bit more, could have gave her a little bit more remorse, I guess, than just her being, this woman who's just going to just walk up on the scene and just take what she thought she was owed or whatever. And then I love the period costumes in that in that show. Like, they are very beautiful. The dresses, the way they walked, the way they had to learn to walk in each costume and stand, and I did like all of that. The locations, Hampton Court, the Tower, the Whitehall, what I can think what he bought for Anne. It was all very beautiful. I liked it. They showed just enough of it to actually get a feel of what it was like to live in the 16th century. I do have a thing as to where when I'm watching something, it's like I don't hardly listen to like the music or what's being played during the show. But I actually did. I listened to some of the music during the seasons of the Tudors, and it wasn't anything out of the way. It was like right on the spot. They had like the type of music for any situation, whether it's drama, whether they're just sitting and talking with one another, or hunting, or all of that. So, thumbs up to the music, the writing of the script and everything. It was okay. Like I said, there were some parts in it I wish they would have extended a little bit more, like the king's, like Henry's relationship to Mary Boleyn, Anne's sister. They did have some history, not a lot, because some people don't remember it, but they did have some. And so it wasn't just Catherine of Aragon and then Anne Boleyn or the other mistress. It was her, maybe a couple of others that we might not know about, but it was also Mary. And we really didn't get a good part in her story, because it was about Henry and his 6 wives. But I don't think they at least could have kind of stretched it a little bit to find out what she was about. I really enjoyed this show, and I was thinking about watching it again, and of course I'm gonna come back and get some more out there. But as far as right now, I think it's good. And besides the that little small little thing, and maybe a few others, when I actually go back and look at the show, and it was very good. So I would have to give it a I would give it a 4. The only reason why I'm giving it a 4 was because at the end of the series, and in the facts, it had read that King Henry got really big. I'm talking about big. And I watched documentaries on King Henry too, and they said he was a big man toward the end, and I would have loved to see, even if it hadn't been played by Jonathan Rhys Meyers, I would love to have seen how he acted in that, because at the end it was Catherine Parr after his fifth wife. It was Catherine Parr, and they said by toward that he was like really big, and I would have loved to see that, just to see what it looked like, honestly. But as for that and the other little hiccups about the series, that's my rating, 4 out of 5 for the Tudors. I probably missed a lot, but like I said, I'll go back into it and do a bit more. But as for now, thank you for listening, and bye.